So today we're going to talk about a marketing concept about the 10-minute marketing plan. I often get asked like, what should I market? What should I create? What should I do? And I look at people with the same confused look and I said, well, why are you thinking so much? Your most valuable content is your experience. And excuse me, today's session is going to be very interactive. Because one of the things that I've learned from my mentor and dear friend Rory is he always told me, he says, look, I could always just tell you how to do it, but that's not really helping you. Let me teach you how to think through this a little bit differently, and then that'll evolve you to grow more. So we want to share some examples with you today, and then I want to open workshop this and share with you different ways to think through doing this, right? And by doing that today, we're going to have you be able to create content in less than 10 minutes every single day, where you can be focused on the things that you need to be, right? Number one, we all need to be a little focused on ourselves, right? Self-care is really important. And number two, we need to be focused on our clients. Number three, we overanalyze and overplan, so thus no marketing gets done. So what are really your experiences? What do you guys do every single day? If you put a bunch of real estate agents in a room, you give a couple glasses of wine, and somebody was like, so tell us the most interesting thing that happened with the client, we would all go around the room and every single week have a new story. And you can't make these things up, right? Not like the crazy ones, but look, it's a very challenging market, right? Like Suzette was on here and she was talking about how she wrote letters for people and how she sent an email out by mistake and her buyers were like, wow, thank you for trying to really find me a home. Angela has gone around creating and delivering board games, right? Haneen is sending out postcards that are literally getting wrapped by the mailman, where we learn like that's something really cool. These are all experiences that we're having every single day. How are you documenting your experiences? How are you sharing your experiences? How do people know really what you do every day? Are you letting people know that you're open to more business? These are all things I want you to think about when you market yourself. Because one of the biggest misses that agents have is they're all taught to and talk to their clients that we're busy. When we're on social media, we're busy. We're busy, we're busy, we're busy. But if you're so busy, it's like the saying, if your hand is like this, there's no room for anything left. So open yourself up. In your marketing, you need to communicate a story, right? So I shared with a client this morning, I go, what is your message? When you're talking to people, what are you marketing? What are you saying? How are you asking? Save your time by sharing your experience versus spending time figuring out what to create. I just want to get an idea. Hit yes in the chat box and be honest if you spend a lot of time trying to figure out what to create and share with people.
Lots of yeses.
I kind of figured that. It always takes the first couple people to be honest and then the rest follow. Look, I want you to start asking yourself at the end of every day, what was a unique experience I had with a client? Write it down. If something interesting happens, all right, I want one person to unmute themselves. What is something interesting that happened to you this week with a client where you're like, oh my God, I wish all my other clients knew that. It would make their lives so much easier. Nobody's had an experience like that they would share with another client. Do you guys have stage fright today? Melissa.
Something.
Oh, wait, who is that?
It's Tanya.
Hey, Tanya, what do you got?
I mean, it's personal, but I'm divorced for a handful of years now. And I had a client, I'm always hesitant to share like really personal information because it's really not about me. It's about the client, right? So, but she started sharing information about her as part of the reason why she was moving and the whole thing. And so I felt comfortable enough to just a little bit, share a little bit of information about me to show her that I identify with how she was feeling and I understood her budget and her circumstance. And I think it was in the end to my benefit to sort of create a little bit more of a bond with her. That's it.
Empathy. That's the essence of what that is. Empathy.
Yeah.
We can all share empathy. How many realtors are out there on social media and their marketing empathizing with how difficult it is to find a home in some of these markets? Suzette, I saw the look on your face, right? That's it. Empathy. It's hard to find a house, right? It's not easy. There are a lot of people that want to move. So think about the experiences that you're having, right? This is an inward journey, and this does require thinking. But once you unlock that what you do every day is really interesting, like a lot of you guys, because I know what price points you sell and see some really cool houses, right? When you're talking about sharing your experience, start storytelling, right? Don't walk in a house with the camera pointing at a fridge and a countertop and a stove and say, "Hey guys, we're in this great kitchen." They know it's a kitchen, right? Like, just let's just start with that as a basis. Start talking about, as I go through this kitchen, I was thinking about a client I had, and share a story. Become storytellers with your experiences, right? And don't get stuck on complicated. This does not have to be some master production every single time. Now we'll show something that Amit had made. Amit is still recovering from his back procedure, but this is a video that he made, the 10 reasons why homes don't sell. And what he had advised us is like, go onto Google when you're making this kind of content and ultimately see what comes up when other people Google that, right? He's gotten thousands of views, he said, from this because no one really had much content about it. YouTube is still a very untapped resource for many people in this business, right? So we start talking about making content in 10 minutes less a day. We can all go like this and make one piece of content every day, a vlog. We can all take a picture and post something on Instagram. We could go on Facebook Live, and Suzette, I'll pick on you again. You've been doing this, and that's how I started following you, right? There's a lot of different things that we can do to engage people. So let's look at this video. Oops. Rachel, how do we play the video? Oh. Can you pull the video up, Rachel? Hold on. I don't think my keynote skills are as great as I thought.
Typically don't sell. And this is after analyzing thousands and thousands of homes on the market, and I'd love to share them with you. So the first reason, in my opinion, is probably one of the most important reasons. And it's looking at most agents and sellers look at their home as a seller does and not like a buyer does. So typically what a seller will do, or an agent will do, is they'll look at their home, they'll look at what homes sold around that area, they find out the last few sales, they'll look at the square footage, the lot size, and then they'll price the house at that price. So like if someone says, we want to price our house at $1 million, and the house is really worth $810,000, I'll tell them, we'll price it at whatever you want to price it at. But when someone looks at your house, there's going to be 6 other houses that a typical buyer will like more than yours. So just looking at it through the buyer's eyes rather than the seller's eyes. Reason number 2 are price band errors. In case you're like, what is a price band error? Typically, when most people look for properties, they're going to be going on apps or online on their mobile. So say there's a property and the seller has an option of pricing it at $449 or $450. Most people will price it at $449 because they think it's a bargain. The problem is on these apps and these websites, the search would go from 400 to 450 and 450 to 500. So if you price your house at 449, the only people that will see it would be 400 to 450. The better potential buyers for your property that have a higher budget at 500 wouldn't see your property if it's at 449 because their band would be 450 to 500. So if it's at 450, both sides would see it, from 400 to 450 and from 450 to 500. So number 3 are photo order. When someone goes to look for a house, typically you'll see only 1 or 2 photos of that home. And most people, most sellers, most agents put the first picture as the front of the house, and maybe they put the backyard or the side of the house. Problem is, most homes, the best feature of the house isn't the front of the house. If they're only seeing 1 or 2 pictures, and the best picture is like number 10, and you have an awesome kitchen or a great backyard, that person will never spend the time to find that picture of the house. When our team lists a home for sale, we'll spend an hour, hour and a half picking our top 5 photos. And if the seller has the time, we ask them their opinion for the top 5. And we find the pictures that really resonate with buyers. And the reason we pick 5 is because after someone looks at about 5, they'll probably continue looking through. So
Hey, Rachel,
photo order
you
is
can pause
huge.
So guys, have you seen some simple things that you guys all have your own opinions on as well, right? Like the price band thing, I think is very important. Pricing the home from the buyer's eyes versus the seller's eyes, right? And number 3, photo order. These are things that you guys talk about every single day, right? So my goal of today's call was really simple. I wanted everyone to leave with 10 to 20 pieces of content they could make, right? And we'll keep track of the topics and stuff for you guys. And then we will add this. Yes, Ali will post the link to the video. And then we will add this. So I'm going to start calling on people randomly. And you're going to share something that you feel is important for a buyer or seller to know. Because the reality is when you're working with people, number 1, if you have video content, it's evergreen content. Evergreen means you create it and you can continuously use it. So what are you the expert of? What do you know the most about? Gitika, I'm going to call on you first.
I had some people respond actually to a buyer's needs letter, and in a low inventory environment that we have creative ways that we can source off market properties.
Great. So sharing, so her piece of content could be sharing with other people how to find homes online, right? Like if she was making a video, she could say, did you know, working with me, I can help you find other properties that are not online. A lot of buyers don't even know that you can do that. So sourcing off market properties. Let's see, who else am I going to call on? Andrea, thank you. Andrea, where is that sweet Southern voice?
I'm here, but I had to unmute because I'm driving on the freeway as usual.
What's one thing you often share as advice or an experience you have with people that would be valuable as a piece of content?
Preparing your home for the market.
Got it. Preparing your home for the market. Yeah, absolutely. So we
a
have
lot
one
of
seller.
our sellers want to know what's going to give them the most bang for their buck.
Perfect. I'm going to go back to muting you now. So
Good
you
idea.
could say, so here's one for you guys. The top 3 renovations to make, or the top 3 things to do to make your house most desirable to buyers. Let's see. I like calling on people who have their screens off. Jody Bentley.
I knew you were going to call on me.
That's why I called on you. Law of attraction.
So I think one thing that just happened to me, but in the last 2 weeks, I had some new clients that couldn't sell their house in the fall, and they called me to come in and tell them what they needed to do. And I recommended Compass Concierge, and it was the first time I've used it. And we got the house under contract, 5 offers, 52 showings, and we went about $45K above list price. And so to me, I think using Compass Concierge as a marketing piece and telling the story of how that helped these sellers could be powerful.
So I'm going to repurpose this into marketing terms. Did you know we can upfront the cost of updating your home?
Yeah.
Guys, remember, you want to talk in questions, right? Like that's how people's process is. Like if you see a video and you're interested into what the answer of the question, you're going to do it, right? So this goes back into the curiosity versus just talking at people.
Hi, what did you have them update on that house?
Oh, Teresa, hold on. We have to
sorry.
This will bring us into a rabbit hole. You guys, look, we were talking about making friends and connecting with people. So you should send a message to Jody, drop your email in the chat. Jody, connect with Teresa, and you guys could share a virtual cup of coffee and talk about these renovations. I want to make sure everyone leaves with an entire list of content. So Corey, in where you guys are, what is advice or things that you experience that benefit buyers or sellers in the market you are today?
I'm big on the permit process. On Long Island, we have a big problem legalizing homes. So one of my biggest parts of my pitch is not about finding you the buyer, but assuring that you don't lose any money after you sign the contract. So between contract and close, making sure you're protected.
How to make sure you don't lose any money after you sign a contract, right? Do you think that's something people would be interested in? Right? So that's another point. Do you guys see how we're thinking about this a little bit differently than just kind of talking at people? Hit yes if I kind of have got you in this mindset of how to repurpose what you're thinking about. I need to see a lot of yeses, or then we have to talk a little bit more about how to think through this. Because look, in the end, think about it like this. Picture the internet and people finding you as going onto a beach. Every piece of digital content is a footprint in the sand. And ultimately, when people go to look for you, who has the most footprints or they're going to find? When people Google you, Amit says this all the time, like what comes up when they Google you? Well, I thought when I got into real estate, I'm like, wow, with a unique name like mine, like I'm going to rank for everything. No, there are all these really smart people with the same name that are doctors. So like, I have to like fight in Google to make my name rank, right? So it's like, what are you putting out there? When somebody types in, you know, Fran Mazer Realtor, what comes up, right? Like, what are you creating? Like you guys are in busy markets, most of us around the country, right? And even in my friends in Manhattan, like it's starting to pick up. So if you think about this, when we're busy, we don't do more marketing. We just kind of work on, well, I'm really busy. Well, this is a time you need to really start sharing your story, right? So now let's talk about, here's a great one. 5 reasons your offer is not getting accepted today. So let's workshop. What are 5 reasons people's offers aren't getting accepted in these competitive markets? Who wants to volunteer and answer? Wasn't a riddle, guys. Come on.
I will.
Hi, it's Colleen.
Low down payment. Colleen, what do you have? Fran, next.
Yeah,
Have to sell my house first.
I have to sell my house first. Low down payment. Colleen, what do you have?
there's too many contingencies.
Too many contingencies. Who else has another reason?
Escalation clauses.
Tell me a little bit, elaborate on that.
We've got a lot of people who are starting to offer saying we'll either spend an extra 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, or percentage wise over your highest in a highest and best situation.
And are you finding in your market the sellers agents aren't receptive to those?
Oh, unfortunately they are.
Okay, so escalation clauses. Who else has a reason?
Price isn't high enough.
Bingo. Price.
They don't listen to their agent.
Yep. Who else has a reason?
Chirag, the other thing that we're seeing is agents are being pressured to change the rules on established highest and best or whatever. Sometimes that works to your advantage as a buyer's agent, but it's getting to be a more frequent problem.
So it's pretty much someone accepts an offer, then somebody offers more money.
No, well, that, yes, but even before that, okay, we're going to have highest and best on Saturday, and it's bought out before that.
Got it. Property selling before it goes to highest and best. So if you start thinking about this, right, how many buyers do you think are actually getting a letter, a video? I would encourage you all to make a video, if not like an actual document. Raise your hand or put yes in. Is anyone sending their clients reasons their offers are not getting accepted in a competitive market? Does anyone have a piece of content like that?
No.
Do you think we all should make a piece of content like that? Yes, right? Look, you got to realize two things. If you ever watch an infomercial, right, and you wonder why you want to buy the thing in the end when it doesn't make any sense, is the testimonials are made to overcome the objection somebody has to a product or service. So what you guys can do in being strategic in your marketing is you could share a problem, but then you could share a testimonial, right? And you could break this up into 5 different messages, right? Like number one, like to Diane's point, is I did not, my agent clearly laid out what the market was and they didn't follow advice and look at, and she could put like, here are the trends to look at, right? Like list price to sales price, days on market, the overall price. This is the way to think through it. And then there could be a testimonial. I listened to Diane, and by following her advice, I was able to win in a 15 offer situation, right? One of our clients in San Diego, Felicia Lewis, she'd like used the letter template we had sent her. And she goes, the way that it was broken down, the seller took less money and was very thankful because they really cared about all the details in the house and the buyer acknowledged it in the letter, right? So we'll add that multiple offer template in here as well. Another reason that offers aren't getting accepted is because the people know nothing about your clients. If you think about this, most offers have a price, terms, contingencies, and then a pre-approval letter from a stranger they don't know. Some from a name bank, some from not a name bank. Some say pre-approval, others say pre-qualifications. And you have a stack of them. It's very confusing for sellers. The multiple offer letter is literally amazing. See, Ryan just gave me a testimonial. Thank you. Another reason is they're not prepared. They didn't get approved in time, right? So if you're not approved in time, you're not going to be able to compete in the bid, right? So most of us here, judging by what markets you're in, are in very competitive markets. If you're in San Francisco, like Kaneen is, like there are no contingencies, right? Like there's 1 week's worth of inventory in the MLS. You have to be prepared. So we're going to curate all these ideas together. We're going to share them with you guys in the member portal. So who has any mental roadblocks in being able to start marketing more consciously and more present to where their clients actually are and start using this in the sales process? If you're meeting a seller, can't you send this in advance? If you're meeting a buyer, shouldn't you send this in advance? Will the people feel like as pressured, like, well, now they're telling me that there's all these reasons and things I need to do to win a house? No, you tell them in advance. It makes you more prepared. It creates a better experience for them. There's so many of us that have buyers here and that don't have inventory. These people need to be advised on what the market is prior to getting into the market. Right? Not after they find the house and you have friends like, hey, Shrek, by the way, like all the houses are going in multiple offers. You need to waive all your contingencies and spend $75,000 above asking. It's prior. Guys, this is 10-minute marketing. Take the stuff you do, take the stuff that works, put it, whether it's a picture, a video, or a document, start creating a library of this stuff. This is all evergreen. It never ends. You make it once. Don't get stuck on production quality. People like authenticity, right? Be real, be yourself. And remember, people know what you sound like and people know what you look like when they see you. So this whole thing of I don't like how I look on video is crazy because you guys don't like, you know, you're not like telephone salespeople where no one ever sees you. Doesn't make sense. Colleen, what was your question about the letter, or which letter?
Sorry, Chirag. No, you had said, do you guys have any roadblocks? You know, and I was just answering that. The roadblock is like sending out a letter that won't work, or, you know, being a perfectionist about the letter. You know, I was going to send out to my neighbors about Compass Concierge because there's been some turnover around here. And so it's like, you know, doing the perfect letter.
Well, look, what I want you guys to do is I can tell you this from, I have like PTSD from the amount of concierge appointments I had when I worked at Compass. Sharing Compass Concierge, sell your home faster and for more money. Take a person or take an experience and take a case study and share that experience. People are a lot more likely to grab on an experience that somebody else had than a concept of putting money into a house, right? Anyone can do it. And really there's the benefit and the secondary benefits. If you have clients you've done this with, I made $50,000. What happened as a result of making that $50,000? That's what people grab onto, right? So I encourage all of you, as you guys are doing marketing, to think more about the stories of people and using it to inspire others. Use it to inspire confidence and have confidence in yourself. You guys have a lot of value to offer people. You know, I see a core group of you literally show up here every single day to improve your business. But you have to take what you learned here and use your voice and project it out into the world. So look, I will tell anybody this. I'm obsessed with you guys making content. We're going to send out this list and we will create a Google form that will be emailed out to everybody in the group, that if you have a question about creating the content, you can put it in the thing and we will provide all the answers to it. We as a community need our voices to be heard. Like you can see from Amit's video, it's not hard to do this. It's just getting started, right? So guys, just go to 0 for 1, keep making a difference. And please take the opportunity to get to know somebody else in the group. Jody's looking for anyone that wants to collaborate with marketing. So if you're looking to brainstorm marketing ideas, Jody, Jodi.Bentley, Bentley @compass.com. Suzette and Jody, you guys have a coffee date. Well, I feel good about myself. I feel like an auctioneer now. So listen, guys, have a great day. We will see you tomorrow during our Lunch and Learn. If you want an interesting conversation about life, real estate, and high-end properties, reach out to Diane Cannon. And if you love pets. All right, guys, I'll see you guys soon.